Steve Mark, and we're back to a new Gravity Falls review. And if you haven't watched one, go and check it out. And we're back with the next two episodes, and we start with another really cool one. And it starts with little Gideon, and yeah, him trying to figure out a way to seek vengeance on Stan and Mabel and all the others at the Mystery Shack. And yeah, then he actually thinks of actually taking the Mystery Shack, finding a way on taking the Mystery Shack, because he wants it for himself apparently. And yeah, we see Mabel, Dipper, and Stan watching TV when this guy, being all sinister like, scares Stan, thinking that it's a collector, and even throwing this dust and getting this all these bags of money and trying to find the secret trap door. Then apparently he won this money, all this check, and having to sign was apparently it's little Gideon that staged this. And of course, instead of him signing the deed to little Gideon of the mystery sack, he put suck a lemon, little man. And yeah, of course he is swearing revenge, saying that he will get him yet. And yeah, Mabel and Dipper are playing chess. And yeah, Mabel is just something though. And yeah, Dipper manages to win. And Seuss is wanting them to grab him one of those brains. And yeah, apparently Mabel is actually taller. And yeah, even Stan is laughing as well. Then they're just making jokes about Dipper being short. And yeah, just laughing all in. And yeah, of course, he's just trying to find a way on trying to make him to be a bit taller, even trying to reach the book, which when he does, he grabs the book and starts looking, and he actually finds this crystal that can actually make him be able to grow, of what it seems. And yeah, ends up falling and finds this very shrunken deer, and then this shrunk eagle, and this tiger or something, and that jumps towards him, but then gets hit with this light, and yeah, finds this crystal, finds the crystals, and makes this butterfly huge. But then he takes a crystal, and yeah, he actually puts it in a flashlight, and he shrinks one of the chess pieces and makes it grow, and wondering of if they notice anything different with him. Which yeah, Seuss actually realizes that he actually grew a bit. And yeah, of course, Mabel is just wanting to know how that was even possible. And then grows a bit more as well. And she is like, if I go into that, if I open that closet, there's going to be somebody in there, isn't it? And yeah, just keep saying, like, you want me to open this closet? And keep saying that there's like a magician or something in there. But of course, there's not. And then little Gideon comes again and threatens to eat with these termites. And of course, he hits the jar out of his hand, and they all go into his hair. Like, he really wants the mystery sack, though. And yeah, he shows the flashlight that he made. And yeah, they end up fighting each other for it, and make this giant caterpillar grow, and it crushes these cars. And then end up growing each other's body parts as well, and ends up just fighting with it until it ends up in the hands of Gideon. Oh no. Yeah, in the wrong hands. And he ends up shrinking them and putting them in a jar as well. And we see little Gideon's dad selling these cars. And of course, everybody's wanting to buy the car. And we actually see little Gideon's mom, and she looks traumatized. For real. She is just vacuuming, not saying a thing. And yeah, of course he still wants Mabel to marry him. Obviously, that is not going to happen. Even giving her some of these gummies and wanting to know from Dipper where he even found this crystal. And ends up doing this blowhorn into his head. And yeah, we see all these mirrors that Stan manages to have. Like, that's too many. And I like that he puts on Stan's little hat. And yeah, Gideon then tells Stan that he has gotten Mabel and Dipper, and of course, still trying to get the mystery sack. And then, of course, he's like, yeah, very funny about that. Doesn't believe him. And the phone ends up almost crushing Dipper. And yeah, him just laughing very maniacally. And him actually having an idea on actually shrinking Stan to take the mystery sack for himself. And even breaking those little wooden figurines of Mabel, Stan, and Dipper, and even putting his hamster in charge of guarding Mabel and Dipper. And yeah, of course, they're going to have to try to find a way to get out and get to Stan, which, yeah, they're still. Mabel is still, again, just going on the whole thing about being taller than Dipper. And yeah, that is a very high compared to how they are. And trying to get on and try to ride the hamster, but it's not working. Was then they get some things to climb down. And yeah, we see them eating some ice cream and tickling little Gideon. But then he starts getting angry. Like, yeah, he is getting angry with his dad and even throwing the ice cream and scaring the mom as well. Like, yeah, he is very mean to his parents, I can just say. Even just damaging these different things too. And yeah, she is like, just keep vacuuming, just keep vacuuming, just keep vacuuming. Like, dang, little Gideon is something. Reminds me of Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents, of how she treats her parents. Like, yeah, little Gideon is something. And yeah, then we see they make it to see little Gideon at this bus station, and then they use the sign, this dollar sign, to fly over to the mystery sack, which then they end up getting to it and have to find a way to get to the gift shop itself before Gideon does. And yeah, he ends up at the mystery shack and put a piece of the gummy in his hair, which then he starts spraying his hair. And of course, before they even do the crystal, they start, arguing with each other. But of course, yeah, little Gideon says that he would have been defeated if it weren't for them bickering. Which then, yeah, he shrinks what we believe is Stan, but no, it's actually Seuss. And puts Seuss in the jar too. And of course, yeah, Seuss reveals the location of where Stan is. Of course he would. And yeah, he just apologizes to them if I wouldn't have found this crystal, none of this would have happened. And Mabel is saying of how she just kept making fun of Dipper because of all the times of how he managed to win all these different games. And yeah, Gideon seems to have found Stan, but of course in this maze. And yeah, they end up getting it unscrewed and find the flashlight crystal. And yeah, on top of Gideon's skin and ends up falling, which then finds this chip and then shooting the mirrors, but then breaking them. And of course, get confronted, which then he goes up to the wall, and then they start tickling him, which, yeah, of course, they go to the armpit of little Gideon. And yeah, he just ends up pushing him away, which then they end up growing back and breaking the crystal, but they broke it right before even growing Stan back. Oh man, so yeah, they're gonna have to fix the crystal. And yeah, little Gideon is just angry. And you look at his mom, though. She looks just traumatized. And yeah, he is just laughing, just thinking on some ways being able to take back the mystery shack and being fed ice cream by his dad. And then seeing, it seems like that this other people are congratulating Stan for winning this amount of money. But yeah, he of course doesn't care. Which then that weird old man gets the money, which is quite funny. But then we go to the next one, and it's another really cool one, I can just say. And it starts with Stan taking Seuss and Mabel and Dipper to this Summerween superstore. which apparently, yeah, he has this calendar with him in June that they celebrate Summerween, which is basically summer and Halloween mixed together. Which yeah, they go into this store and yeah, with all these different things that you would see from Halloween as well, and even scaring this baby. And yeah, this this lady though is like it's just having it. Like she is done, and even threatened, even going to call the police. Which yeah, of course they end up running, and even yeah, stand buck. Which yeah, that's basically a crime. Counterfeit fake money. Like that's a crime. And yeah, again, she is like completely done. She is in a mood. And yeah, they end up backing up into a power line, power poles. And yeah, I like how they transformed the name of the mystery shack. And yeah, Seuss is talking about this legend, this spooky story that apparently apes that apes that apes kids. And yeah, them just showing these different pictures of yeah, them just grabbing, just seeing all these different candies as well, and very weird names too. And then just throwing out the candy, which then we see Robbie and Wendy, which of course they're going to this party. And I actually have figured out who the voice actor of Robbie is. You know the guy who played Fred on Big Hero 6? It's the same actor. Yeah, I knew he sounded familiar, and that's who it is. But yeah, they're going to this party, which of course Dipper is having to choose between doing the trick or treating or going to the party. And yeah, we see the costumes that Mabel and her friends have, and of course Stan is a vampire. And yeah, I love how Wobbles looks as well. Looks like it's in a suit, and of course, yeah, Dipper isn't in his costume because he's pretending like he's sick. And then we see this weird creature that comes out the door, which then he just comes in and he ends up eats one of the kids too, and saying that if they don't collect 500 pieces of candy before all of these lanterns, watermelon pumpkin lanterns go out, then yeah, there'll be history. Which yeah, they didn't tell Stan about the legend that is the story that is true, and of course, you know, Dipper is still wanting to try and make it to the party, which then Stan goes over to the kids and tries to scare them. Which, yeah, some of the other kids are frightened, but not these kids. Which, of course, yeah, he then realizes that some of the kids ran, but not these other two ones. And then, yeah, trying more tricks, and they're like, "We watch some horror movies." I mean, yeah, I pretty much see some horror movies, and yeah, I don't get scared. Of course, I'm pretty much used to that. I would just say when it comes to that, and yeah, we see everybody else trick or treating, and yeah, getting some candy, and of course they're not able to get a whole lot of candy because Dipper's not in his costume. Which then we see that creature again and telling them that they better hurry up. And then those two kids are demanding more candy. And yeah, of course, Stan is like, "You two kids got me. You win." But then, yeah, Waddles ends up coming out of his shirt, and they're still not frightened. Yeah, like these kids are something. And then just showing this cat video, and it's basically a jump scare. One of those jump scares, which, yeah, scares Stan. And yeah, he ends up getting in his costume after all, and it's almost not that far from being to the party. Which, yeah, when they do this dance at one customer, this tough guy ends up setting a tear. Which then they end up getting all these different pieces of candy, which is really good. But then all the lanterns are almost going out as well, which they only need one more piece of candy. And then Robbie and Wendy then see Dipper, and of course he's just trying to pretend like he's not trick or treating. But then, yeah, the truth comes out that Mabel finds out that he was not faking sick and just wanted to go to the party. And yeah, they find out that yeah, all the candy is now dumped away, and all of the lanterns are being lit out of the place, and just one left that is remaining. But then they end up blowing it out, and the creature ends up coming towards them and try to throw one at the creature. But yeah, of course, it's not going to work, and it starts chasing them and grabs Mabel. But then Zeus ends up running straight into it and seeming like it actually destroyed it, and he was hoping that it was an actual civilian. But yeah, Mabel is still upset, of course, and even in the car as well, and she actually got hurt on her elbow as well. But then the creature ends up transforming again and jumps on top of them. But then they end up running into the store and trying to hide. But then, of course, Mabel is like, I thought, try to trick or treat while we still can, while we're still kids. But then they're trying to think of some way, which Zeus is literally standing right where they can actually disguise themselves. Which, yeah, they disguise themselves. And of course, Zeus has to do it. He has to mess with these noise toys, which, yeah, of course, they're telling him not to do it, which then he has to put batteries in it, which he does put batteries in it and makes it make noises, and yeah, ends up going to Zeus and literally eating them as well. And yeah, they end up getting some weapons, and apparently it's some of those gross candy, leftover gross candy that no kids and nobody would eat, and that's apparently what the monster is. But no, Zeus actually then eats it, and he's actually happy that somebody actually likes the candy. And that other kid that was eating comes out of it, and yeah, these kids have just thrown toilet paper all over the mystery shack, and they literally come in like they're committing a crime basically, and trying to find Zeus, or not Zeus, Stan, and he's about to take a bath, and they end up getting traumatized when he takes off his towel, seeing him naked. Which yeah, that would definitely traumatize people. Like, yeah, they're literally traumatized. And Wendy is actually there, which apparently the party wasn't all that great, and Robbie had to go home because he got sick. Which, yeah, then they got. Yeah, Stan actually just took the bags of candy from those kids. And yeah, while they're watching, they just start doing this eviling laughing. Which then Mabel just takes these different pictures of Wobbles as well, which is really cute. Yeah, really interesting, really cool episodes, I would say. But yeah, like, do you think? Let me catch up.